How you doing, everybody? My name is Michael Zapsik. I'm from AMC's Comic Book Man, and you're listening to iWalter.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain. It's a plane. It's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who, disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
All right. Hey, it's Walter. You know what? I didn't think I was going to do a show today. I honestly have nothing to talk about. So, yeah, that can actually happen. But this is one of these times I have nothing to talk about. It's actually Tuesday, March 8th, 2016. I'm moving my mic back and forth. So I figure I'm going to try to do one anyway. I don't know why. You know what I heard today from my father? I can't believe this. Well, I do believe it, but it's just kind of sad. My dad said he was watching the TV today. There was a bunch of women on TV bitching and complaining about Donald Trump. And, I hate to say this. So this is just, it's really sad. It's really ridiculous. They were calling him they're comparing him to, I'm drawing a blank right at this second, to Adolf Hitler. And it's like, this is ridiculous. If people would say the same things, he said this, my father, he said, if they said the same thing about President Obama because he's black, they wouldn't get away with it. And nobody would get away with it. They would say, oh, this is racist, this is hypocritical, this is horrible, this is slanderous, whatever you want to say. They would just make up some story that how offensive this is. But if it's a woman saying this about President Obama, that's okay. I mean, I'm sorry, not President Obama, but Donald Trump, it's okay. I'm trying to grab my bottle of water. You think I'd learn my lesson by now after breaking enough equipment from spilling stuff on it? So I had to mention that. That was one thing. And it's still kind of digging in my groins after I remember I was listening to my own show again from yesterday. And and it's true, though. This is true, but women basically get away. I mean, they have it a lot more easier than men do. They act like they don't. And I'm thinking about what that guy that I was mentioning yesterday, Milo, and it's funny. I hate to say this, nothing against him, but when I hear the name, think about his name, his first name being Milo. He's some type of reporter, I think. One thing that comes to mind, one thing right away was, and I hate to be this way, I don't think people realize this, but Milo's actually is the name of some movie, and it's a comedy horror movie about a piece of shit. I'm not even kidding. So I don't mean it in that way. It comes to mind, and it's funny. Still haven't seen the film yet. It's like on Netflix for free. But anyway, he did mention, this is what I wanted to say, that how, women are they're more, I want to say anxiety prone or whatever. They get more anxious during testing and stuff in schools. They feel like they're under a lot more stress in school, so they basically dumb down the education or how they grade women. And it's across the board with other people, too, at this point, depending on whom you are. That if you fit in a certain category, I have my windows open, so I can't help but look out like the window screens are up, so you're going to hear traffic, too, probably. That, if you fit in a certain category, they're going to basically automatically just hand you the grades. And I don't remember, which is good for me, the specifics, but my one friend said, yeah, he there's a girl in his one class, or not in his class, he knows, that's going to college right now, and she's one of these people that fit that description that he said this the other day, that she fits that description. She's basically, she doesn't show up to class at all, and yet she gets a passing grade. I mean, if I would show up to every class, because this has happened to me before, especially when I went to this one college, this one professor showed up to every class. I tried my hardest to do the best I can. Well, you shouldn't get a grade on effort, but it's more than just that. I mean, I really did not do as bad as this one professor claimed that I did, and I ended up failing the class anyway. But nowadays, and this was the truth back then, if you're a female, you're going to get a D. I mean, I don't mean to be offensive, but it's true. So there's a difference. Being offensive is like you're saying something to deliberately harm somebody's ego or something else. But, in my opinion, but being honest is a different story. It's brutally being honest that, I can't get away with, well, we feel sorry for you because, you're some type of minority, so we're just going to give you the grade. We're going to give you a passing grade. So, again, this one friend said this one female did not show up to pretty much like none of the classes almost. Like she was hardly there. Let me say that. And that being said, she still got a passing grade. So there you go. But that doesn't exist. I should not say that because that is being offensive to somebody out there. But it's the truth, though. So, again, you can't be honest about things. You have to sugarcoat it for certain people because they might find it offensive, even though the one who's truly getting offended is myself, not anybody else. It's me who's getting and being mistreated. So, anyway, yeah, I hope this doesn't come up in some ways. In other ways, like I like people to hear that I live in a private neighborhood, and yet you can hear all this traffic like it's 476. So anyway, that being said, by the way, next Saturday, I mentioned this before, me and my friend Matt, we're going to go to see New Order. And I looked at the address, and it's hard to believe it's actually outside of Philly, but it's still really far. Well, at least at this time of day, it would be this. It's like an hour drive. Because I know when I check out stuff, and it's only in Upper Darby, it's outside of the Philadelphia area, which I'm really happy about. So we're going to go see that. I don't think I mentioned it yet, the Tower Theater. So I actually put in for directions now, so I can figure out what's going on with that. So that's cool. And I remember I mentioned the other day. Now I got to look this up again because I just had it up and I must have shut it down. Of where I'm actually going to stay. Now, my dad said I could just go down towards Center City for when I have to take this test. I mentioned this before. I have a test I got to take in June, and hopefully by then I'll be back at work. So, anyway, this test in June is down in Philly, and it's at the Jefferson Hospital. My dad looked it up. He said, listen, you can go from, like, the train station. If I would have gotten a hotel around there, it's 3 blocks away. So, if I knew that, I probably would have got a better hotel. I got one close to the hospital, but I swear I looked online, and it's a little further than what he says it is, I think. And then you get a horrible one, but I definitely, could have gotten one a little bit more ritzy. I just didn't want to pay the money. I think it's just ridiculous to begin with. And I'm not going to take one down and try to fight the train system and be exhausted at taking this test. So anyway, I didn't think it was going to be this difficult because I had it up for a second there, and now it's like buried in a lot of stories on where I'm staying. It was like the only reason I was going to mention it was because it was up. Now it's not that far from the top as I thought it was before. And I did look it up. Alrighty, now it's not showing up, the place I stay. You know what? Maybe I'll just do one easy since it's giving me this difficult of a time. I'll just look up hotels.com. Now, it was funny today. I had to go for this hair treatment thing today. It's over near King of Prussia Mall. So right afterwards, I decided, you know what? I'm going to check out because today was supposed to be an official day that they were releasing Hogan's Heroes. It was like, oh, good. Hey, I'll pick it up in the store. I'm not going to get online. I'll just get it in the store because I really kind of enjoyed that show so far. So here I go, and I go into the King of Prussia Mall, Best Buy. I'm not even kidding. There was this guy on the, I think they're called, he had those handlebars. I think they're called banana bars or something. Like, they're really long. And this guy is just like, he's got like a shaved head and tattoos. He's kind of actually scaring me because I wanted to get away from him as quickly as possible because he was driving all over the road. It was like, dude, you're going to get somebody in an accident. This is going over towards the Best Buy from where I was at. It was like down from the casino. So this guy, I kind of got a wind of after a few minutes, or after a while, I should say. This guy's kind of following me. So he disappeared, like he went one way, I went the other direction. It was like, oh, thank goodness this guy's out of my hair now because he just seems to be being a nuisance. I think he actually might have been in front of me, but some reason, how could he be following from in front of you? Trust me. So he went over towards the movie theater direction, and if you ever been over the Best Buy over to King of Prussia Mall, you go up and there's like a little shopping center from the King of Prussia Mall. There's like this little mall. Not a mall, it's like an outdoor, a couple stores in the movie theater. And I'm trying to think, it's not the Regal. I don't think it's AMC either. But it's that King of Prussia movie theater. It's on the opposite side from where the Best Buy is, and there's also an outlet store in between those. And there's a little bit of stretch of road, that goes either direction. A couple restaurants, food places to eat, like fancy restaurants, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. So I go the one direction, he goes the other one. And I'm like trying to figure out a place to park. The mall's not that crowded. It's, Tuesday afternoon when I was over there. It was like 1 o'clock that I was over there. So this guy comes out of nowhere on this motorcycle, which I thought he was doing his own business. I thought he might be going to the movie theater. He's like driving around my SUV, like he's cutting through the parking lot. And it's like, okay, this is a little weird. So I figured, whatever, I'm just going to ignore the guy, like literally, because he's kind of like a little bit creepy. And I go inside to look for, this box set of all the seasons of Hogan's Heroes. It just got released today. They re-released it from, they release it every so many years. They re-release these TV shows from years ago. And in its entirety now, because people would rather just have the whole series as opposed to like a season or so here or there. And I was like, okay. So I kind of got a glimpse. It was like, wait a minute, I think this guy is now going in the Best Buy, even though his intentions appeared to be that he was going somewhere else. So I was like, whatever, I'm just going to ignore the guy. I'm going to go over to where the video section is and, look at these Blu-rays and DVDs. I just wanted to kind of see if it was out, and here it was. But this guy walked around the store, but he circled back to me at least 3 times. And he had this weird look on his face, and he was kind of scary because, again, he had a shaved head and he had these tattoos on his head. And he's like one of these motorcycle, I can't even remember because my brother encountered somebody similar to him years ago where he, I can't remember what you call those different bikers you got to be careful for that aren't very friendly. They're more actually very dangerous. So he kind of reminded me of one of those. And I can't remember the name because I'm talking like 30 years ago at this point. When I was younger, my brother had encountered and gotten in trouble. Not that he did anything wrong, but they just acted like they did these nasty biker gangs. And one actually, this is when my brother was a teenager. He's now in his 50s. He's like in his late 50s. But this is when he was in his teens or 20s. He was driving around. I don't know if it was outside the city or where it was, but the guy actually went out his way and he smashed his hand or his foot through my brother's window in his when my brother was in his car. So obviously, I can't remember what you call those nasty bikers, but my brother was so scared he just basically fucking took off. He was like, "This guy's gonna." The guy's intentions were to kill my older brother, my oldest brother. So I'm gonna put it in. Because I can't remember it. I honestly. Okay, I'm trying to look. But this guy kind of reminded me of one of these type of people. I actually put in nasty warlocks. Okay, they call them warlocks. The Highwaymen, Black Pistons, Motorcycle Club. These are the most dangerous ones. I would say this guy was definitely on the line of being like kind of a warlock kind of guy. So, you know what? I wasn't too it's like, dude, I'm not doing anything to you. You're just pagans. These are all biker gangs again that they show. So there's one called Mongolis, and they do have tattoos on their head. Maybe that, I don't know, but these are out in other Hell's Angels. I've heard of them. So the guy was some type of warlock or something like that, probably. And it's like, dude, I'm not doing anything to you. You're walking around the store acting like and follow me in the Best Buy like I did something wrong. I didn't even cut you off. I'm like minding my own fucking business. I think people are so upset nowadays. They just try to find reasons to start fights with people. And honestly, I'm like one of the most. What I do on the radio is different, but in real life, people who know me, I really do mind my own business. I don't even go out of my way in any sense of the word to start trouble with anybody. But they seem to want to like seek me out and start trouble like I'm the one who initiated it, even though it's not true. So anyway, I'm looking right now because I said it was on Hotels.com, and it's for this place called Alexander Inn in Philadelphia. Now, the place looks really nice. The ratings were like through the roof. It's got almost a perfect rating by most people who had stayed there. It's not many, because on Booking.com it's only 258 people. But it's almost a perfect rating. And the place was sold out. There's actually only one person who found it not that great. It says the neighborhood was perfect almost. The condition was like semi-perfect, close to perfect. Comfort was really good. Service was really good. And cleanliness was almost excellent. So that's where you want to stay, a place like that. The only thing I don't like about this place when I have to go is that I'm going to have to park around the corner. It's like kind of a ritzy, not very new, kind of quaint, not too big hotel. And I got to go there because I got to take a 6-hour test down in the city. And I don't want to go too far. Have to walk around Philadelphia, considering what's going on a constant basis with people getting shot and killed, stabbed in the neck, whatever. So, yeah, so there was that. Anyway, it was. I'm on a lighter note today. I went in there. Oh God, this is too funny from Drudge Report. I'm sorry. I'm looking at something. Actually, see how easily distracted I get. I'm looking at a story. It says. And it shows that woman who's like equivalent to a president in Germany. Germany bans sausage, pork banned in cafes and schools to not offend refugees. So now they have banned hot dogs and sausages in Germany. Well, I hate to say it, that's what they're known for. Germany is known for this crap. Schools and canteens in Germany have banned pork from the menus over the fears of offended Muslim migrants, the top politicians have revealed. Now, this was actually put on from Drudge Report. I think that's beyond funny, by the way, because, again, what is Germany known for? Well, that's exactly what they're known for. So, I couldn't help it. I'm in there, though, and I'm looking around. They got all this set up for the Batman versus Superman stuff. They had these $40, like, ultra big Batman, Superman dolls. I mean, they're big. They're huge. They're like those Star Wars ones you see in Target that are about 2 feet tall, or maybe actually 3 feet tall, 3 foot tall, 6 foot tall. I don't know. No, that's a little ridiculous. They're not 6 foot tall, but they're about 3 foot tall. And they're like $40. It's like they're cool, but you talk about this dust collectors. I mean, what are you going to do? That's not that bad. The price is actually really good, but that's because they've already oversaturated the market with all this crappy, toys you can buy. And I'm a sucker for buying most of it. So anyway, hey, by the way, I'm looking right now, and they're showing the following episode of Supergirl, and that was the weird thing. I thought it was on last night. It was not. It's not on until another week or two. They're taking another break. I hate when they do that with TV shows. So it won't be back until March 14th, which is next Monday, actually. I'm not sure if I put it up. I hope I did. So I'm going to look right now. If I didn't, I'm going to be mad. Nope, but I didn't. I hate when I do this stuff. But yeah, they're really pushing about the new episode coming up. I think just me like a little bit of a kind of role reversal on the character, on who she thinks she is. Maybe like some type of amnesia or something. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, you know what was funny, folks? There was something I saw online. I'd like to know who it is. Rush Limbaugh. Okay, hey, there's something that Rush actually put up. I got to listen to him. I didn't listen. He was off the air yesterday. He had Mark Stein covered for him. It says, if Trump goes into Cleveland, this is on Limbaugh's Facebook page. He just posted this, I think, not too long ago. Into Cleveland with, say, 1,100 delegates, not 1,237. It looks like right now the Republican Party is going to use that as an opportunity to blow up this whole thing and use it to get rid of Trump and choose somebody else on the second and third, whatever, how many ballots it takes. Trump voters will descend on Cleveland if RNC thoughts will of the people. So this was just posted 1,237. It looks right now that the Republican Party is going to use that as an, and then it just goes on to say something else on it, and it actually goes right to his link. So they're really trying to fight to get rid of Trump, the Republicans. Now I know, I mean, a lot of people, again, they just don't want to see the man, especially a lot of Republicans don't want to see the man taking office, but it's just amazing what kind of things, and it's just the vicious attacks, which I really just don't like. I mean, I hear what I say. My one friend was actually mentioned that. Do you know what he's already, changed his mind on, or, reinstated or whatever? He's changed his what he was going to do. Like, he was going to deport all the illegal immigrants. Now he's not, and some other things. Well, you know what? You're right. This is stuff that the man is honestly being dishonest with. He's saying one thing, and then he's changed his mind. But you know what? Do you want to hear this stuff after the man gets elected or before? You know what I mean? So this is the other side of the story that you gotta consider. Because most people are saying, well, the man's being totally dishonest and blah, blah, blah. But look what, Bill Clinton did, and so did most of the Democrats. Probably Hillary, obviously, is going to be doing the same thing. She hasn't done it yet because she hasn't gone as far as running for, getting into office. But think about it. Also, I'm trying to think, President Obama, and how he basically, said he was going to do all this stuff, and he lied about everything. He even lied about how the insurance was supposed to make things better for people. So do you want to hear that, have the man elected, and then have him change his mind or change what he's saying? I'd rather hear it now than after the fact, after it's too late. Like, right now, it's not too late. So, the man, yeah, he's changing things. He's changing what he's saying, but he's doing it before he's actually got the power to do so, and yet he's getting reprimanded, or he's being torn apart for doing that. When everybody else waits till after they basically establish what they want, like getting that ultimate power of running the entire country, and then they change their mind. It's like, well, it's too late then, folks. Right now, it's not. So I'm probably not making any sense, but the point is, I'd rather have somebody now showing his true colors then wait until it's too late, because it's really not too. It's never too late up until the point that person gets elected. Then it's too late, because then you got to fight for getting the person in power, who's the commander-in-chief. You got to get them impeached, and nobody wants to do that. So that's never going to happen. So that you got to look at it that way too. Something up right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to post or not. It's from the Daily Dot, and it says, "This is right before it happens. Possibly a drunk construction worker burst through a wall like Kool-Aid Man." It's pretty funny. It shows the wall broken and everything. Drywall. It's not that hard to break. Ooh, I might be actually see my friend. There's something up on Facebook from Monco College, Destination Arts, and it says a wonderful performance with MCC, it's 3 C's, college course, and Maestro Thomas Hung. So my friend Matt might actually be in there. So Matt, if you hear this, I did place it on my Facebook page, and I'm going to see if I can see my friend Matt. Oh, wait, he's not in this part, because he actually might be, I might be able to see him. I actually did post it just in case kind of thing. This is all people playing instruments. So wait a minute, I think I might have just passed what he could possibly be. So Matt, if I do see my friend Matt, I'll let him know. No, that's kind of strange. So anyway, hey, you know what's kind of interesting, folks? If I mentioned this to a friend, he had a problem with it actually. And actually, I got to look on my phone because I can't remember the name of the program. Not really. Well, it is a program, kind of. Yeah, it is. But I put it on my phone, too. Oh, Spotify. Yeah, I mentioned this before, and I said, yeah, this is really cool. And you know what? Honestly, it really is. Spotify is a really, really cool program because, now, my one friend, Matt, said he actually got billed for it, and he never used it. So I feel bad about that. But what I like about Spotify, though, is, laying my phone back down, is, they say how great, I'm trying to think, like, how great iTunes is and some other things, and it's all right. And I think there's other programs like iTunes, but Spotify, yeah, it's like iTunes. But the best thing is you can get any type of music, and I was going to actually tell my one friend Todd, because he likes different music, because my one friend Todd, he loves, I'm trying to think, music like Kiss. Well, guess what? They got a ton of Kiss music up there, and not only they got their standard music, they also have, which makes it even better, they also have bootleg stuff as well. I mean, there's things called, believe it or not, there's such a thing called like legal bootlegs, because I used to get those at the record stores down in Bryn Mawr for The Cure. I got all like this stuff. And last night I figured, okay, I'm going to really push this Spotify. I want to see what they have. They have legal bootlegs. They have live albums, basically. That's what a legal bootleg is. So most of the time, like, they're not put out by a record company, but they're also at the same time, you're not recorded, by a record company. Like, you're not going to get, you can get some live albums, but not on the extent of what would make it a legal bootleg. So that being said, though, I figured, you know what, let me put in some really ridiculous stuff. I put in, like, everything, even Wax Trax. Wax Trax is basically owned by Al Jurgensen. Yeah, and Wax Trax was under, like, you could get any record that was made under Wax Trax under Spotify. So they gave you the list of, like, a lot of these. It was like, wow, half these bands I never even heard of. But they gave you a list of bands on Spotify that were under Wax Trax. And it was like, that is incredible. I said to myself yesterday, I said, okay, now I want to see if I can really impress myself and see if I can find something even better yet. Like, can I actually find the album that Kevin Smith, that Robert Smith did with Susie from Susie and the Banshees, and that was basically this album called The Glove, because they release it. It's not very easy to find anymore. Once in Blue Moon, it will resurface. It was like an album that really just never went anywhere. So it was like, okay, if I can find that, that would really impress me. And guess what? Spotify had The Glove on there. Spotify actually had a lot of different bands on there, including all like the Kiss stuff, and I'm pretty sure even like Kiss bootlegs, you name it, they had it there. So yeah, so for me personally, it's really, really not that bad. And that being said, it's like $10 a month, and personally to me, I think it's well worth it, because for me to like dig up this music or just own it, it's a pain in the ass. And Spotify actually does not sound that bad at all. So, and you can play it like, I found it on, originally, again, I found it on I'm trying to think, I found it on my PlayStation. So it was like, wow, this is really cool. So, yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's one of the reasons I recommend Spotify. So it's definitely worth it. Putting something funny up, I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. I'm sure it's going to get me in trouble if that person was still on there, because it's kind of like I didn't put it on, somebody else did. And actually, I think it was one that got banned. It was on horrorgore.com. It's for Skittles, and it looks like this guy's fucking his new bride up the ass. But I'm swear to God, it's a Skittles commercial. So, this person would find it. I think it got banned because it does look kind of like inappropriate. It's like a regular commercial, though. So I just posted up a lot, and I got to now figure out how to go back and read some of these stories. So, again, I wasn't sure. Oh, wow, here's another good one. I'm just seeing this now. This is one of these that really piss you off. And, yeah, they're Caucasian, so just letting you know. It's from opposing views, which I'm really kind of afraid to read the stuff they put up. But it says a pregnant mom of 11 children gets $60,000 per year in benefits, but she still wants the government to pay for her C-section for her next baby. And it says, oh, and that's not her only request. So there's even more to this. Now I'm kind of curious. Yeah, this woman has 6 children. She's going to have her 12th. This was actually, it looks like in England. I might have read this story before. She makes $60,000 a year in benefits. She's basically a welfare recipient, her and her husband. And here's the funny thing. It says she's only 32 years old. And she wants a C-section to be paid for by the British government. So I'm trying to look for what else she wants. I think I knew, because I think I read this before. I think she wanted like breast augmentation for having all these kids. Like her tits are like floppy, so she wants to get breast. I think that's probably what it is, because I know I saw this story before. I mean, that's just ridiculous, and I feel bad for the people in England. I mean, it happens here too. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I don't really see it, but I know I read this story, and I'm pretty sure that was the outcome, that this lady was complaining. Oh, my breasts are, they're all saggy from having all these kids. I think the government should pay for my breast implants to, make my breasts look less droopy. Well, there's an easy way around that. You just don't have children if you're going to be complaining about it later on. Hey, problem solved, isn't it? So, but I see this stuff, and, people come, and, again, that there you go. You got the white female. This is in England, though, where that guy actually comes from, Milo. And she's bitching, complaining about, how she's not being treated fairly, even though she is making $60,000 a year on welfare benefits. And now she's demanding more and more and more. That's what happens, though, in any of these countries that we hear about or read about on the news. The people that get everything given to them for free, they're not satisfied with just getting a little bit. They always want something on top of what you're giving them. Like, what you're giving them is not enough. They want more. They feel like they're being robbed, even though you're being robbed out of your pocket, out of your taxes. It's not their fault that this is this way, and it's just ridiculous. By the way, this is. I hope this is true. This is interesting. I guess this would be a lot more. I don't even know who this guy is. I'm sorry. I'm seeing this article now. That's why I'm changing the subject. It was on Dead Cool Comics, and this is the second time I've seen it. And a second source. He's actually a decent looking guy. So you're probably saying, "What the fuck are you talking about, Walter?" I don't even know what I'm talking about. Tom Hiddleston, or is it Hiddlestone? Or Hiddleston, wants to play James Bond if offered the role. So they're already, I guess, discussing, because I guess the actor who's playing it now, he's probably going to get a little bit tired of doing it. Oh, he played Loki. Okay, that makes sense. I knew he looked kind of familiar. The guy who played Loki in those comic book movies, he wants to play the next James Bond if it's possible. So that'd be pretty cool. I could kind of see that, too, almost. He's a decent-looking guy. He could pull it off. I'll put it up on my Twitter page, too. That would actually be pretty impressive, too, if that would be the case. Keeping it, not so ridiculous as a direction they were trying to make that politically correct. Because I'm telling you, I hate to say this, the way everything goes one direction on having everything be politically correct, you just wait and see. It's going to be a matter of time. Even though it's a character out of a book that was written to be a certain way, it's going to be a matter of time before they say, well, this is not fair to women. I think we should get an African-American woman to play James Bond. So I'm sure the author would just be would be rolling in his grave if he knew that. Listen, it's like, you took my story and you just destroyed it now on political correctness. I mean, it's got to get to a point that it just gets so far that people just say, we got to put a stop to this. This is crazy. So, but I did have a couple articles come up, and I'm not really speaking about that. I'm not too fond of what they're even doing with. I'm trying to think what they're doing with. It's going to come to me. I'm sorry. What they're doing with the Ghostbusters. I mean, I think that's just ridiculous. That everything has to be pretty much politically correct in some format of the word. Some sense of the word, I mean. Isn't there a point you just say, you know what, this is too much. We're going to just we're going to give up. Like these people on the left, we're just going to give up. Oh, here's a funny story. I saw this before. I'll read it now. It was on PIX 11. Something just have to be seen. This is something that has to be seen, basically. It says, like this car driving down the road with a tree stuck in it, for example. So it shows a woman was driving this car, a rather expensive one. A woman arrested for a DUI after driving with a 15-foot tree dead smack in the center of her grill. This is no joke, and it looks like Illinois. Yeah, it says woman arrested for DUI after driving with a 15-foot tree stuck in her grill. So, and it has a video for it, too. So, charged with DUI, 15-foot photos. God, this is too funny. Placed on Facebook on Friday originally. So, let's see. I want to see if they actually have this woman driving on a video with this deal. I think they do. Yeah, actually, I hate to tell you. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they have this woman. I'm not even kidding, folks. She's driving down the road with a tree in the center of her grill. Like, they got the video of it, too. So, you talk about stupidity. And again, it looks like one of those, I don't know, I could be wrong. It looks like a BMW or something. I don't know. But that's just crazy. I wonder if the people are wondering what happened to their tree that the lady, who was stone drunk, is driving with right now in the center of her car, her SUV. I mean, you talk about hero of the stupid. That's definitely one of them. Now here's, oh God, I got two funny ones. I probably have to. Well, one's funny, the other one's just ridiculous. This one I'm looking at right now from the Norristown Times-Herald. A Philadelphia man has a September date with the jury on charges he shot and killed two men allegedly during a jealous rage at a Norristown apartment building in November. Accused Norristown double killer has a trial date, courthouse in Philadelphia. Man, again, September. So I'm sure they're going to find the man innocent in some realm of the word. Now, this one actually was posted by Rush Limbaugh, which is kind of funny. One of these funny pictures with a funny caption underneath. So this one, again, is from Rush. He posted it up. He found it. And it has an old black and white picture, like from a TV show or a movie. And it's like of a man in, a suit, because back then men all wore suits. And his son, I guess. And it says, "Dad, what's welfare?" And the guy says to his son, "Son, that's when some people buy rims, tattoos, and drugs, but have no job, so we work and give them our money." And I swear to God, this is from, like, Rush Limbaugh posted this. He found it. I mean, he didn't post it, but yeah, he did in so many words or less. So here you go. You got something from Rush Limbaugh making a joke about that. Now, I find really funny. I'm going to have to give this to my friends right now, because it says from Rush Limbaugh and EIB Network. So you got to remember, when Rush puts this stuff up, you got to also remember that Rush Limbaugh, his main, sidekick or whatever you want to call him, the guy he's like best friends with on the show, you don't hear his name, is this guy Schnerdley. He's black. So there's nothing wrong with that, because Schnerdley is like, he basically feeds Rush the information he needs to know. He's like, without Schnerdley, whatever, how you say his name, Rush would be lost. I'm not even kidding. So he really depends on the man. I mean, they're like best of friends, this guy Schnerdley. And the guy is an older black guy, but he, so I guess what I'm trying to say, he can kind of get away with this stuff because he's not saying anything. I'm sure if it was anything really off the wall, Schnerdley would definitely say, "Listen, dude, you kind of pushed it way too far this time," and he never does. So what's that telling you? I'll tell you one thing. It's telling me that it's funny. So that one, I think I just posted it on two friends' Facebook pages. I think they're going to find it really funny. I think they're going to enjoy it. So, you know what? I'm going to have to go back, because the deeper I get, I can't find that one from Supergirl, though. I'm going to have to actually send this to a friend, because he's a big Kiss fan. This chick, I don't even know who she is. Oh, wait. Wow. She's the one. She looks really different. Vera, whatever. She's a girl who I think she's actually pretty hot. But she plays on the Bates Motel. She plays the mom. And she's really young. She kind of looks like a boyish haircut, but she's got a Kiss t-shirt on. So I got to send to my friend Todd, at least, because he's a big Kiss fan. Oh, God. One of those or get me in trouble. Thanks, Todd, because you have it blocked. So I have to download the picture, which I don't like doing because then I get in trouble. Because I download it and I re-put it up. And he says, "Oh, I never have anything blocked for you." Yeah, dude, you kind of do. No offense. So thanks for blocking the page, because then somebody will find it offensive that I'm not posted. That I had taken their picture. So I apologize. I'm like, actually, yes, I am stalling for time right now if I get her picture. So I'm gonna also go through some of the stories I had posted originally. I didn't even recognize her, though. She looks cute. She's hot looking in general. So I'm going through right now and see what I put up. Now, this is pretty funny in some ways, I guess. It's the Times Herald. It says, "The squeaky wheel gets the grease." That's the motto for the motto. The president and the vice president of Springford Area High School Bards are following as they prepare to march on Harrisburg for a third time to try to bring an end to the 9-month-long state budget. Looks like impasse or something. It says Royersford School joined Springford in a march on Harrisburg. So I already told you who wants to be in the next James Bond. I actually almost hope it happens. Some other cool stuff. Unfortunately, totally funny, amazing video. That was the one I said with the Skittles. I'm surprised it probably did get banned, but I'm surprised I didn't get in trouble for it yet. I will probably. So I got another story. Something from the Times Herald says, "Keeping score, lack of civility infiltrating American life. There are a number of items, cornerstones of America way of life, that have disappeared with the passage of time." Yeah, no shit. As the behavior becomes more and more acceptable, it seeps into every level of society, like the infestation of disease-causing mold. Now it has reached what once was supposed to be the highest level of American society. That's what it says. And it has infected politics and the race for the presidency. So there's some article on that from the Times Herald, actually. I don't need to go any further, I don't think. There's some funny story or video I got also, by the way, because I like the ones on the cats. Some old man. Usually it's about women having like hundreds of cats or cat lovers, but here's an old man. He's got probably like 50 or 100 cats that he owns, and he's like got a little cat house for him, like a little house for the cats to play in, and he's taking care of them all. It's some video I put up. I don't know where I got it from, but it is pretty funny. He's like feeding all these cats, and they're all over him. I mean, it's like an infestation of cats. It's funny. So I got some other ones. Definitely got the ones on the cats, because I always like the cat ones. One says a cat stealing. It's a video. A cat stealing a toy from a neighbor. So this cat literally stole a teddy bear and claimed it for itself, and it's walking around with the teddy bear. It's kind of cute. Now, I'm sorry about the one for Supergirl, because that was actually what I'm looking for, and couldn't find that. But again, that won't be on for another 2 weeks. Oh, I'd taken a picture. I put up. People seem to like it. Over at the Valley Forge Casino, there's a gun show this coming Saturday and Sunday. Something we all really need people. Well, you know what? Honestly, you really do need guns nowadays. I'm sorry, you do need guns. But I just think it's kind of funny in the same token. So here is something funny, a picture I'm looking at right now. It says, "Socialism, a great idea until it shows up in your front yard." So there's somebody there's a picture with this statement, and it's somebody who has a Bernie Sanders for, being president in their yard. So somebody cut part of the sign away, and it states, or it has on a half a Bernie Sanders sign underneath the socialism thing. I took half of the sign because you had one and I didn't. I'm sure you understand. So, it's, kind of showing a little bit of an irony on, well, socialism is about sharing everything, so you don't mind sharing part of your Bernie Sanders sign, do you? So I thought that was pretty funny. Now, I never honestly post any stories from Huffington Post, but I couldn't help myself this time. So I was kind of forced to do it because I honestly, I don't like to. And it was actually from somewhere else, but Huffington Post had posted it as well. And it's a story that was titled, it's from Slate.com, When Cool Turns Creepy. In a story of classroom sexual harassment, popular teachers are often perpetrators. So it said on Friday, University of Hawaii geobiologist Hope Jarrah published a New York Times essay that laid bar one of the most insidious barriers to women's self-confidence and success in STEAM fields. So STEAM is supposed to be some abbreviation for sexual harassment. So one of those hyphen things, whatever you call it. Through the story of a former student who asked for advice about confronting unwanted flirtation from a senior colleague. I can't pronounce that name right, but it's Jahren. Jarrah identifies a specific, it looks like archetype or archetype of male authority figure in academic, basically, or at academia, who introduces unwelcome sexual undertones to a professional environment. So here you go. It's a double standard, believe it or not. That's probably why I didn't really want to post this. But here you have, again, it's the females complaining about the male teachers. Now, females teachers are doing this quite a bit, but, more than probably the media is even leading on. But that seems to be all right. In fact, that gets boasted that if they do that, if a female teacher does this, that it's great. Why didn't they do that when I was in high school is what I always hear. So it states, these men frequently open their advances towards young women in their classes or departments with an email. Jarrah writes, sometimes it's open with, I need to tell you, or it's late and I can't sleep. So I'm not going to read anymore. I mean, honestly, see how this happens? Because I mentioned, this is what I started my show with, it's all right to ridicule and demonize Donald Trump. It's all right to demonize and ridicule, I'm trying to think, male teachers or just males in general, especially if they're white males. But as soon as you start to defend yourself and you attack the ones who are doing these, or making these accusations, then right away it becomes a different story. Like, hey, what are you doing? You can't do this. You're not allowed to defend yourself. This is unfair. This is horrible. You're harassing me. But if it's happening to, I hate to, I sound like like I'm beating, I am beating a dead horse, but it's all right. But if you're a white male, you can't defend yourself. You're not allowed to. That's offensive. If you try to defend yourself on these stereotypes that are being represented or placed on white men or white males, you are not allowed to speak against what we're telling you. So you're literally you're stuck between you can't say anything. So here's some stories I saw, and I put them when I was getting this hair treatment thing done to help regrow my hair. I looked at some of these articles, and I these are ones they're kind of like what I call my iffy ones, but I'll look at them anyway right now. One was from a radio station, 100.7 FM, WFLA, and it was posted from the Daily Caller. So Sanders is wrong about, no, this one's not bad. Sanders is wrong. America's poorest countries are 95% white. God, didn't I kind of say that earlier? Been saying that so much. So it says in the Daily Caller and on this radio station that in actuality, in reality, it's 95% of the poorest people. It says America's poorest countries are 95% white. So you won't hear about that on regular news. But it says, but according to the 2010 U.S. Census, the last census year, the 5 poorest countries in the country, or counties in the country, are at least 95% white. You won't hear about this. You won't hear it like it's you can't hide it, but they won't mention it. So let me reread that. It smells like carbon monoxide. But according to the 2010 U.S. Census, the last census year, 5 of the poorest counties in the country are 95% right. Did you hear? Now, I am saying that right. The nation's poorest countries are in Kentucky, where there's more than 98% white, and it's only getting poorer. In 2014, the National Review, Kevin Williams, made this county subject to a piece titled "The Big White Ghetto." If people weren't 98.5% white, we'd call it a reservation, Williams wrote. So 0.5% black. It's only 0.5% black. The nation's second poorest country is in Kentucky, 95% white. I'm going to take a break for a minute. Hey, everyone. Yeah, I'm back now. So I hope I did this correctly. I think I did. Yeah, I had to actually take a breather for a minute. I had my windows open. My parents came home, and the room filled up with carbon monoxide from the car fumes, so I couldn't breathe. But anyway, yeah, I'm almost done my show for today anyway, because I really didn't have much to talk about. But yeah, that's pretty depressing when, they always complain about that minorities are the ones that are suffering, different nationalities, well, not nationalities, different ethnic groups in our country, but it's actually the white Americans, which are almost, according to this, 98.5%, between 95 and 98%, that's like almost 100% are all white Americans that are the ones suffering with unemployment and no money coming in. So that's a double standard right there. So, I know. Yeah. Sorry, somebody, I guess they're noticing the stuff I put up, and I look right away, which is not a good idea, because I only had one more thing I think I wanted to look at. I was trying to look for that Supergirl thing, though. I'll have to put it in on Facebook for the Supergirl thing, because I think it looks pretty cool that she's doing a little something different. I really like that actress, too. She's cool. So. Oh, and another thing that's funny, folks, if you're interested, by the way, was there's a thing called... I forget where I got it from. They give these teenagers a bunch of an old computer to check out and try to run, and it had Windows 95 on there. And it's titled, "Teen Struggling with Windows 95 is Hard to Watch." And it says, how do you get on the internet if there's no Wi-Fi? So these kids, and the one kid actually, I think a couple of them, are actors that I do know. The one kid, he plays on a couple different Disney shows, and it's funny because I knew this in the past. He's actually one of the people they give the computer for. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it, he's an Indian kid who speaks perfect English. Like he's American. His nationality is, not American Indian, but Indian. India Indian. And he plays on these shows as a stereotypical Indian with like that bad accent where everything's broken language. But the actor in real life does not talk that way whatsoever. He doesn't even remotely closely talk that. He talks better than I do right now. So he's in there, and he can't figure out how to use this old computer. For him, it's old. It's not old for me. I had one of them. Brand new more than once. So I'm like laughing watching this. I didn't watch the whole thing yet. So, yeah, it's just pretty funny. I would recommend that. There was something I posted, by the way, from, it looks like lifezet.com, titled Eric Trump targeted Hillary, not my dad. Donald Trump's son and advisor on Monday called on his father's rival for a nomination to clear the field and unite against Hillary Clinton, saying the ongoing barrage of negative ads against his father, I guess. I guess he's getting past his son. I didn't realize he had a son. I guess he has a son and a daughter. He probably has a lot of kids, Donald Trump. So, this is one story I did want to read. This is probably on the top of the list I wanted to read. I forgot about. And it was on PIX 11. It says, man 96 arrested for taking off his diaper and exposing himself to children in a lewd act. So it's an older man, 96 years old. I'm not even kidding. Said he had taken off his diaper. So I thought it was pretty funny. I feel bad for laughing about it, but I got a kick out of it. There was another one I got. There's a link actually on Facebook. It's called Friday the 13th Franchise. It says, Jason was known as the Jack-O-Lantern on Jason Takes Manhattan set Friday the 13th. Jason Voorhees has seen many different designs for his look created throughout the decades with different clothing and arrangements and the hockey mask, of course, as well. Obviously, his face had changed multiple times. Oh, this is one I got to push, too. This actually went up. I posted this right after I did my show. And this is really cool. I really like this. It says DJ Miss FTV. So I'm not sure this chick, she's really not bad looking. She's well endowed. I don't know if they're real. She's got big breasts. Not important, though. Actually, I think she does do it herself. And she does a really good job. She's this blonde-haired chick. She's like not bad looking at all. But she makes herself up to look like these comic book heroes, both the guys and the women. I'm looking at it right now, and they look really good. They look not like the guys, actors from the movies. They actually look like the comic book strips themselves. And she did I think she did Robin. I'm trying to think. I'm going to have to go back because I can't remember the first one. She looks like she did Iron Man or something like that, and looks really good. It looks like a comic book, but it's actually this girl. She makes herself up to look that way, so she looks much better than these movie adaptations. I mean, she looks just like a live comic book, and it scares you because if she doesn't move, you would swear you're looking at a drawing from a comic book. You wouldn't believe that it's really a woman. And she does her own makeup. She's really good. But she does, like I said, Robin then, and it does look like it's moving, like a real comic book. So I don't know how she does these, but she does all her own makeup. And they're incredible. So I got to give her I hope it's her. She even does Spider-Man, and it looks really good. She does these other characters I don't know about, but they look like they come to life. So that's the only reason I mention it. They're just, I don't know how she does it either. She actually, this one was really impressive too. She does Two-Face, but again, she does the one from the comic book, and it really looks like you're looking at the comic book. The other one was Supergirl version of who is that? Because she was actually on Supergirl, but this looks like the one from the comic book. They actually did a good job with the comic book version too. Supergirl's alter ego. I can't remember, so I'm looking it up. No, it wouldn't be that. I just put in bad Supergirl. Because it was just on the other week, and it was really good. I think they even named it. I'll have to look through all the episodes. Because they did a good job. But this girl, she did actually a better job on the makeup on the other Supergirl. Let me see. Because they did name that particular episode. They did name it what it was called. And I don't know if I mentioned, but I did buy a ticket in advance because it's not that far off for Batman versus Superman. It's hard to believe it's actually finally coming to light. It's like, they're already done the movie, but now it's just, I guess, I mean, it's been hyped for years. Believe it or not, I've heard about this for years, so, and now it's actually taken shape. Okay, I'm looking through the episodes because maybe I can figure out who it was. See, that Supergirl series is actually, the episodes, the characters are all taken right from the comic books to begin with. Another reason I want to look for this one was because the girl who dressed up like this character, she did a really Bizarro. Okay, there we go. It was the female Supergirl version of Bizarro. This girl actually looks like Bizarro from the comic books. So some people say that there was never a Bizarro in Supergirl's comics, but you know what? They've done that before. They've actually, made some Supergirl comic books over the years. So I think they want to probably revamp it with, what do you call it? So I got a bunch of people just added some stuff. And then I'm going to look, and then I'll let it go for tonight on my show. That thing on Supergirl. Because the upcoming episodes, honestly, they look really, really good. So I apologize. I've been pausing way too much lately. Oh, and I actually wrote the place that I'm supposed to go for this comic book thing, and the thing is, though, they didn't get back to me, so. Yeah, because they actually have Supergirl TV. They got a lot of Supergirl right now. I guess this is it. Yeah, they're showing like a teaser for next week's show because I don't watch regular TV normally, so I don't know what's going on. And it was on the one that this basically is called. It's basically Supergirl. The network basically made a web page for it. It says, "Look at that city. They worship me, and those who don't will." A new Supergirl airs Monday, March 14th. So in the previews, it looks like everything is kind of upside down with Supergirl. She's not the timid, nice girl that we all, all of us know and love. She's actually a little bit different. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. I'm just checking because maybe there's something else. Yeah, from CBS. So I can't wait actually until they do the crossover as well. Maybe this is going to, my guess is, I'm sure this is going to lead up probably to the... Because this is what happened before, and they did a crossover with The Flash and Green Arrow. There was a reason, because things were a little bit off, off-center, so they had to... Basically, they had a, I think it was Arrow had to help kind of get him back on line, or it was the other way around where the Flash had to get Arrow back online. So I think this is what this is going to lead into. But because it shows Kara, I guess, is that how you say it? Supergirl, where her personality is like all these different people in her life, like she's become these different people. And that's what's going to be on next week. So, and another one that was really cool, I think, maybe I better repost this because I don't think it actually didn't go up on my page. But it was from My Comic Planet, and it says, this needs to happen on Supergirl. And it says, Tom Welland deals with CBS, his deal with CBS could signal a Superman appearance on Supergirl. And it states, the success of Supergirl on TV has to make you wonder about the potential of seeing Tom Welland as Superman back in live action once again. So I thought they said they were going to do this. So they actually were going to pick, because they only showed the back of his head, but they were actually going to try to get Tom Welland to play Superman, because he was like the TV version of Superman. He was basically only Clark Kent for the whole 10 years of the show. But they said they were going to bring him on, from Smallville. They're going to actually kind of cross over Smallville with Supergirl, which would be really cool. Now, they've already incorporated in an indirect way. They brought the actors in from Supergirl the movie, and they also brought from Lois and Clark, that Superman, on the very first episode, the pilot, which I think he got killed. Well, the father of Supergirl's Earth father, who was actually really Superman on Lois and Clark, he got killed off, I think, the character in the Supergirl series, which kind of sucks, as far as I know. Now, that's the thing, though. I almost want to go back, because I did buy it. It was a box set. It was like one of these box sets are technically, again, one of these legal bootleg things. And it was being sold on Amazon. But the reason I got it, because it had all the seasons. You didn't have to go out and try to seek them all out for Lois and Clark. And the reason I mentioned that, though, is actually I wouldn't mind kind of watching those. So I didn't realize the girl who plays Jimmy Olsen's girlfriend, I think I did add her. No, I didn't. I don't know how I found her, though. I guess because of Supergirl stuff. She's really, really cute. She's real hot, like a brunette girl. She actually has her own webpage. Even one picture of her in spandex, which, me, I'm going to get that picture. But, yeah, the show's been really successful, Supergirl. And it's actually one as much as I don't like it, I don't mind if there's a break in. Oh, wow, she's got a picture of the guy from The Walking Dead. Wow, I didn't know that. It's The Late Show. They were both on the late show. So that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, she's got some pictures that she looks really hot in. So anyway, and she's got a lot of celebrity pictures too. I mean, she's a celebrity technically herself at this point, but she's got celebrity pictures with other people. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna, because I'm just kind of rambled on at this point, so I really want to kind of put this to a close tonight. So it's still early. It's only 6:00. So anyway, for people who are listening to me, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed them. Sorry if I sound like I just have been rambling on, but for those who listen again, let me move my mic over. For those who are listening to me, thanks again. Enjoy this Tuesday evening, and I'm probably not going to be on tomorrow. I don't know yet. It depends if there's something that's worth discuss, and we'll be back again. I'll put it that way. So anyway, thanks again, folks, and have a good evening on Tuesday. And if you found that Hogan's Heroes thing, good luck, because I couldn't find it in the stores. I ended up buying it online. Okay. This is iWalter, signing over now.